Correct now? Part 2 is for session level. So now let's say we'll go to issue reset request. So here you will see list of services. Okay. These all are list of services implemented. If we'll go to issue reset request, okay. So yeah, for this we have 0x22 condition not correct implemented. This NRC shall be returned if the criteria for issue reset request is not met. Now, if we will see here, implementation. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'll show you how the NRCs are implemented, how the NRCs are checked. Okay. So these everything is mentioned as per the ISO document. So yeah, we have here negative response service identifier. Okay. So now it talks about how is the implementation. Yeah. See, this is the block diagram which says general server response behavior for request messages with subfunction parameters. Okay. So in the mandatory check, first thing it is going to check is for NRC 13. Okay. Minimum length check. So once the request is received by the server, it will check for minimum length check. Okay. If the length is within the defined range, fine. Yes. Then it will go ahead for the next check. If not, here only it will throw NRC. Okay. Then if the range is fine, then that nested if loop is here. It will go for second check is subfunction supported. Okay. If the subfunctions are supported, then fine. It will go for the next check. Or else here it will throw NRC 12. So these are the orders of NRCs being implemented. We had question, right? If you'll see here, so first ECU will check if that length is within 2 byte request. Okay. If yes, then inside Is it visible now, guys?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Ah, so if the length is 2 byte, because ECU reset request will be of 2 byte. If yes, then fine. Else, what it will do is will give NRC 13. Okay. So once this is done, then here again one loop will be there. Check for sub function supported. Okay. If sub function is supported, then fine. Else, here it will throw NRC 12. Okay. If sub function is fine, then again inside this if loop, it will check for, let's say, precondition check. Okay. If precondition is fine, else here will give NRC 22, right? Right now, like this nested if else loop is implemented for all the checks for NRC. Okay. So here if we talk about precondition, so preconditions are defined here. What all? If the vehicle speed is within the range, right? Means less than 3.8. So in precondition, it will check for if vehicle speed is less than 3.8 kilometer per hour, or engine speed is less than 500 RPM, or supply voltage, okay, is greater than 9 volt and less than 16 volt. Okay, I told now these are the precondition check. Correct, guys?
Yes, sir.
How this is correct? Here I am using all loop. Is it correct? Because all these three condition has to be checked, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It should be and, right? Then how you said yes, sir? Whatever I'll say, you'll say yes, sir, yes, sir. Tell me. It should be and, because we are going to check all the conditions should be valid. Correct, na? The vehicle speed should be less than 3.8 kilometer per hour, and engine speed should be less than 500 RPM, and the supply voltage should be within the range. Correct? If these all three conditions are satisfied, then only it will go for positive response. Else, it will send NRC 22. That means condition is not correct. For executing this request, vehicle speed, engine speed, and supply voltage all should be as per the defined values. Understood, guys? Everyone, did you understood? Like this code will be written. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Once the server will receive the request, first thing it will check for is the request is of 2 bytes. If yes, fine. It will go for next check. It will be within this loop. If no, immediately it will throw NRC12. The length is not there, correct? If the length is 2 byte, then it will check is subfunction supported or not. Let's say for issue reset request, if we have requested 01, so fine, 01 subfunction is supported. Let's say we requested 05, it is not supported. Immediately it will throw NRC 13, right? Sorry, NRC 12. 13 is for this length. Correct now? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Understanding these NRCs? Yes or no? If not understood, I'll explain it again. Shall I again explain it? Guys, understanding now? So like this, these NRCs are implemented, okay? So once the client has requested for any service request, the request will be received by the server over CAN bus. Then it has to decode what request is there. How it will decode? First, it will check whether the request is correct or not. Is this request executable or not? For that, it will check for loops. Okay, there will be some if-else conditions check. First condition, whether this request is of 2 byte. Yes, if it is of 2 byte, fine. If no, let's say the request is only 0111. It is of 1 byte request. Immediately, server will send NRC 13, invalid message length. Okay, no need to check for other condition, no need to check for executing the request. Now, if the request has received of 2 byte, okay, we'll check whether this sub function which has been requested, is it supported by our project or not? Yes, 01 is supported. Then it will go inside. Then it will check. Now, service request is supported. Sub function is also supported. Now the server has to check if there is any precondition check required for this request. Because just think logically, if a vehicle is moving and the client is requesting for reset the ECU, it is not advisable, right? The server should not go for client request because currently vehicle is moving. It can lead to some problem. Correct, huh? Yes or no? Huh. So that's why after receiving the request, some checks has been done. Now it will look for, is there any precondition check required for this service? Not for all, but for a few, yes. Because if you'll see the document, okay. So let's say if you see the document here. So these documents talk about what all the NRC supported for this service. Okay. So for this 11, it is telling this subfunction not supported, incorrect message length, invalid format, and condition not correct, and security access denied. These 4 NRCs are supported for this service, out of which one condition not correct is also there. Okay. So if condition not correct is also there, that means there should be a precondition check implemented before executing this service request, right? As per the ISO document. Understanding? For all services, it is not mandatory that precondition check can be implemented. It's not mandatory. For few of the services, if you'll see, there is no precondition check. I'll give you example. Okay, let's say if we'll talk about this 22 service, okay, or maybe if we'll talk about 3 service, okay. So if we'll talk about tester present 3 service, if we'll go to NRC, okay. So for this, only 2 NRCs are supported. 22 NRC is not there. Understood? For requesting, when the client requests that service, there is no NRC 22 supported for that service. Okay. So before executing that service, server is not going to check for precondition. In that if else loop now, there is no if else loop which will check for the precondition. Understood? So if we'll take example of this, so here only it will check if length. Can you see the paint screen, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Paint screen is visible, right? So if the client has requested instead of ECU reset request, tester present, okay. Let's say client has requested 300, okay. This is tester present request. Then it will only check for length is correct and sub function is supported. This check is not there. Okay. Understood? Only it will check for length is supported, fine. Sub function is supported, fine. Give positive response. Understood? Guys, understanding?
Yes, sir.
So only for few services, this NRC 22 will be supported. That is defined in the ISO document. If 22 condition not correct is there for that service, then definitely this piece of code also will be implemented. Okay, we'll check for precondition before executing that request. Server has to check for precondition, and this precondition will be OEM specific. Maybe OEM just want to check only vehicle speed and only supply. Don't check for engine speed. That's fine. In the code, we'll implement only this and this. This will be removed. Understood? So this precondition check is as per the OEM specific. Understanding? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this precondition check is completely depends on OEM. Okay. So here, if the request precondition is failed, then the server will send negative response with NRC code 22. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
22 clear, right? So 22 tells for some of the service requests, there is precondition check. And before executing that request, server has to check those preconditions. If that precondition fails, any of these code, okay, if we'll talk about this, here this is and if let's say this vehicle speed is more than this statement fails, right? Correct now? If let's say vehicle speed is more than 3.8, what happens? This if This condition fails, right? Yes or no? Guys, if any of these three condition fails, what will be the outcome? This if it statement will be false. This if statement will be false. Yeah. Then else statement will be executed. Correct now? Yeah. So this is about NRC 22. Now we'll talk about, now you have doubt related to 27, right? 27 is security access. So what is security access? Few services and few functionalities are secured, correct? So that only authentic device should access those services or those functionality or feature. Understood? Understanding? Same like we are doing with our mobile phone. You don't want, because the mobile phone is our personal, right? There will be some personal information, documents or password or something in your mobile phone. You don't want other person to access your phone. So for that purpose, what you'll do? You'll put a PIN or password, right? Correct now?
Yes, sir.
So that's the reason, because why you are putting password, so that only you can access your mobile, or somebody whom you are going to tell the password, you say like he or she is my best friend. So I want her to access my mobile. Not a problem for me. You will share your password with her or him. Correct? Then that person and you, only two-person only can able to access. Others not allowed. Right? They're not able to access your mobile phone. Correct now? So that's the reason this 27 service is implemented in automotive, okay, in vehicle, so that only authentic person or authentic device should be having access to the some services or some features or functionality. Understood? Now, how it is done? So this 27 service request will have sub-function, okay? That sub-function tells about which level of security is implemented. Okay, so there are two sub-functions. One is request seed, right? Request seed will be always odd number, correct now? Like 01, sorry, 01, 03, 05, like that. These odd numbers are request seed sub-function, right? Correct now? So this request seed will be followed by send key sub-function. And send key sub-function will be, let's say for 01 level of security, it will be 02. For 03 level of security, it will be 04, which will be one added to it. For 05, it will be 06. Correct now? Like that. Yes or no? So there are, for 27 service requests, two types of subfunction. One subfunction is request seed, which is always odd, 01, 03, 05. And the second subfunction, it will be send key, which is even, this odd number plus 1. Okay. This is clear? Subfunction. Guys, any doubt here for understanding the subfunction? Clear now? What about others?
Clear.
Okay. So now what we'll do? Now we'll check the sequence, how it is being done, how the security access request is made by the client so that it can access the security level of server. So the request always start, client will request. Okay. So client has to request first, as per the ISO standard is request seed. So client will send 2 bytes of request. 02 27 is the service ID for security access, right? And sub function, let's say 0. So this request is request seed. Okay. So once the client has requested for request seed sub function, then what will happen? Server will send response, right? Response will be, let's say here in this case, 4 byte of seed and key value are implemented. So the response will be of how many bytes? For sub function 01? Guys, tell me. How many bytes of response will be there from the server? 6 bytes. Good. Now tell me, what will be the positive response service ID for 27? 67. Good. What will be the sub function here? Sorry? 01. Because we have requested for 01 sub function, right? In the positive response of sub function will be 01. Followed by seed 1, seed 2, seed 3, seed 4. Clear? Correct now? Good. Now, once server will respond positive response with the seed value, the seed value will be received to the client, and client to authenticate that client is correct client, is not unauthentic client. Okay. How does it will do? The client will have a security algorithm, okay, to calculate key from the seed value. Understood? If there is an authentic client connected to the server, then that client should know how to calculate key from the seed value. If the client is not knowing how to calculate correct key from the seed value, that means that client is unauthentic. Understood? Correct now? Only the authentic person knows what is the password. Unauthentic person doesn't know. Clear? So once this response is received, then client will calculate key and will send request with sub function 02, send key request. Okay, the key request will be 27, 02, key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4. These keys are calculated based on the seed value with a algorithm which authentic client only knows. Understood? Is it clear? Request will be of 2 byte only when you are requesting request seed. Okay. And this send key request with sub function 02 can be of n byte. That depends on how many bytes of key and seed request has been implemented. Okay now? Because here we are making 2 times request. One request is for seed request, another request is send key request. Right? So first request for request seed will be of 2 byte always. Okay. But the client, once it will send request for send key sub function, that depends on how many byte of seed and keys are implemented in the project. If the seed and key are 4 byte, then the request will be of 6. If the seed and key are 8 byte, then this will be 10. Correct, na? Because these two are there. Apart from that, 8 byte of key. If seed and key are 16 byte implemented, then the request will be of 18 byte. Understood? So this
Sir?
send key
06, sir, in client request.
sorry,
How we get 06, sir?
06 is because here 6 byte you are sending, right? So
Yes.
06 is this 0 means single frame, 6 means the length. Length is 6 here, right?
Yes, sir.
Single frame, multi-frame we have studied, right?
Yes,
Less
sir.
than 8 bytes if you want.
Request only 2 bytes only, na, sir.
This request is of 2 byte, na? But
Yes, sir.
second I told, na, when you are sending request for send key, that depends on how many byte of key is there.
Okay, sir.
Because this key will change, right? I told,
Yes.
na, this key will change based on the project. Some projects may use only 2 byte of key. Some project will use 4 byte of key. Some project may use 32 byte of key. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So if 32 byte of key means this request should be of 32 byte of key plus these 2 byte, 34 byte. Understood? So here we are using 4 byte of key and seed. So that's why 4 byte of key plus these two, service ID and sub function. So 4 plus 2, 6 byte. That's why this is 606. See, just a minute. I'll show you in ISO document. You'll get it more clear. Is it visible? ISO document? Guys? Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, send key sub function. Is it visible? Send key sub function. This tells you'll have how many byte of request? N byte. Correct? First byte will be security access request service ID 27. Second byte is sub function. Okay, 02 or 04 or 06, 08 like that. And from third to n byte, it will be security key. If the project is using 2 byte of key, then third and fourth byte will be key. Project is using 8 byte of key, then third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 byte of data will be transmitted. The request will be made. Understood? Guys, understood or confusion? Understood now. That's why they mention here n. It's not fixed. That depends on how many byte of key is implemented in the project. Okay. So if we'll take the example in our case, we have 4 byte of key. Okay. We have 4 byte of key. That's why 06 length. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then after receiving this, server will check whether these keys are correct or not. If these keys are correct, then server will send positive response, right? Positive response will be of 2 byte. What is this? 6702. Understood? This means the security access is granted. Guys, is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Everyone,
Yes, sir.
or any doubt? If any doubt, please do let me know. Any doubt in understanding this 27 service? Now we'll see the example. So let's say client has requested for, let's say, 11 service, okay, for hard reset. Okay, and we assume this 11 service is protected by security access. Okay, to access 11 service, first client has to access the security, then only it can access 11 service. Now let's say without accessing the security, if client has requested 02, 11, 01. 01 is for subfunction for hard request, right? What will be the positive response? Without accessing the security. Guys, what will be the positive response? Is it positive response or negative response? First tell me.
Positive response only, sir.
Why positive response? See, before accessing 11, we need to access, it is protected by security access. Correct, na? Without accessing the security, if client is sending request, then it will give NRC, right? 7F 1133, security access denied. Huh? Correct, na?
Sir, how we know that it is positive response or negative response?
That you will not know. That will be there in the document. Okay, what you are working on. These are the requirements, right? You are not defining the requirement. Customer is defining it. Correct. I'll show you one example of a document. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Excel sheet? Is it visible, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this is the requirement given by the client. Okay. Based on this, we are going to implement our software, as well as we are going to perform testing based on this requirement. So requirement says if the extended diagnostic session is active and if timer S3 server elapse timeout, then the software shall set the default. Okay, fine. This one we have not seen. So this will be confusion for you. Let me take some simple example. Okay. Let me take some simple example. Yeah, we'll take this. The software shall support service issue reset in the default diagnostic session. Okay. This is the requirement customer has given. Okay. Customer wants our software shall support service issue reset 11 service request in default session. Okay. Understood? Understanding, guys? So this is the requirement actually given by client. So actually this is contradicting with our example. Because if we'll see our example, what we have taken, this 11 service request is protected by security access. Okay. So this example, what says 11 service is secured with the security access. First, you need to access security, then only 11 service request is there. But what I am showing the requirement, that is different. That Volvo client has given this requirement. They want ECU reset request should not be protected with protected with security access 27. They want ECU reset should be implemented in default session, extended session, any of the session, this 11 service request should be supported. Understood? Those two are different requirements. That other client wants 11 service requests should be protected with security. This Volvo client are telling this software should support ECU reset in default session also. In default session, we doesn't require security access, right? Understanding? Okay. So now we'll see. So now we have done the software implementation. In software implementation, we are checking if default session is also there, enable this. Simple. So we'll write the code. We'll check for the length. Okay. We'll check for the subfunction supported. And then we'll check subfunction is supported in active session or not. Understanding? That code I have shown you. Code I have shown you, na? If check for length. If not, then throw NRC 13. Then inside if check for subfunction supported. If not, throw 12 NRC. Then inside we'll again do a check for, let's say, this 11, this is supported in active session is default and extended. If yes, then give positive response. If no, then throw 7E. Understood? So now, based on this requirement, we have written the test cases, how we are going to test. First, the client has requested for 10.01. Server will send positive response. Here you can see positive response, 6 byte of DLC, 5001003201 F4. Now the client has requested 11.01. Now by seeing this positive response, we know, right, the active session is default section, right? Correct now? Yes or no? So now in this default session, the client has requested 11.01 request. 02. 02 is single frame, 2 DLC. And these are padding values. Okay. Either 00 padding or AA padding can be used. So here we are using padding 000. Okay. Then after sending this request, the client has given positive response 51.01, and before going for reset, we told, right, client will give positive response. Understood? So client has sent positive response, then it went for reset. Once the server will go for reset, there is error frames in the frame, because whatever the message is being transmitted by client is not acknowledged error, because ECU CAN is not working. ECU has went for reset, right? CAN is not working. So if there is no node for acknowledgement, that is detected as CAN error, not acknowledged error. Understood? So like that, we'll prove yes. In 10.01 default session also 11.01 is supported, because in this default session when we requested 11.01, we got positive response and server has performed hard reset because there is error frame. CAN is disabled. Understood? Guys? So like this, there will be thousands of requirement client will give. Okay. This is one requirement. Like that, for diagnostic, there can be 500, 600 requirements. They will say this will be supported in extended session. This will be supported only in security access. There will be NRC if the request is less than 2 byte or more than 2 byte. Okay, like that, there can be multiple requirement. If you'll see next requirement. So this requirement say the software shall support service ECU reset in extended session. So now we'll check in extended session. We request 10.03. We got positive response. Again, we requested 11.01. We got positive response and the ECU has went for reset. Understood? Guys, understanding with these examples? So like this, you'll have multiple. Now another requirement. So when the software received a physical address ECU reset request, and if the default session is currently active, then it shall reject the request by transmitting a negative response with NRC 12. Okay. So this is actually some other requirement where if the physical request is made and default session is currently active. So we have seen in one project, it is supported in default session. This example I have taken like another project. Maybe this ECU reset is not supported in default session. Okay. Understood? So like that, there will be multiple requirements. Okay. For NRC, let's say here, when the software received an ECU reset request, and if the request reset type is hard reset, and if ignition status is not equal to on, okay, then shall reject the request by transmitting negative response with NRC 22. Okay, so here we are making engine status as ignition off. Okay, and when ignition off and we are making request of 1101, then it has rejected with negative response 7F1122, and 05 is condition not correct. 05 is extended negative response code. Okay, so as I told, right, negative response generally will be of 3 byte. Okay, but in some scenario there can be NRC code. Apart from NRC code, extended NRC code will be there. That's a negative response 22, but what is the reason? Engine is off or vehicle speed is high, then it can be 0A, or voltage is not within the range, it can be 2201. So by saying 01, we'll come to know 01 means voltage is not within the range. Understanding? This is extra NRC code implemented that will tell exactly what is the reason. Because this 22 NRC condition not correct can be of multiple reasons. Maybe engine status is off, maybe vehicle speed is more than 3.8 km per hour, maybe the voltage is not within the range, maybe engine speed is more than 500 RPM. So there are 4 conditions. Okay. So now if we'll talk 4 conditions. Okay. So maybe we'll implement if 401 means vehicle speed is greater than 3.8 km per hour. That customer will pay. If we'll get 05, that means ignition is off. Okay. If let's say 08 means engine speed is high. Let's say 0A, that means voltage is not within the range. Understood? Now if you requested, let's say 021101, and we got NRC 7F 11 22 and let's say 05. What does it mean? Condition not correct, but what is the reason? 05 ignition is off. Understanding? Let's say we got here 01. What does it mean? Condition is not correct, but what is the reason? There are multiple reasons for precondition. But we got 01. That means vehicle speed is more than this. Understood? Guys? Hello?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Everyone? Understood?
Yes, sir.
So in some of the scenarios, you will get negative response, which is of 4 byte. Okay? Where, let's say this NRC is because of multiple reason. So this extended NRC will tell what is that reason. So it won't be for, let's say 12. Let's say subfunction not supported. It won't be because subfunction not supported. It is sure. Whatever the subfunction, let's say here we have requested 04. So this 04 is not supported. Understood? If we request here 11 byte, so it will give 3 byte of request, 13, invalid message length. Okay, but if we requested here 01 and this condition not correct can be of multiple reasons, then this extended NRC will be there. Okay, maybe 0A, 7F, 11, 22, 0A. For 22, there are multiple conditions, 4 conditions. Now, what lead to 22? This one will give. Voltage is not within the range. By seeing this, by seeing the requirement of the customer, we'll come to know if we receive 01, that means voltage is not within the range. Understood, guys? Good. Okay, so this 27 is clear, right? So now we'll come to the point here. As I told, this 1101 is implemented for security. If without accessing the security, if you are sending 1101, the server will send 33 NRC. Security access denied. So before requesting this, first what you need to do? You need to access the security. Client will send 2701. Then server will send 6701, C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay. Then based on this, client will calculate the key and will send 2702, E1, E2, E3, E4. Then once the server will confirm the key is correct, then we'll send positive response 6702. Security access granted. Once the security access is granted, then client will send ECU reset request with hard reset. Then we'll get positive response of 5101. Understood? Guys? Yeah. And is 2701 supported in default session? Guys, is it supported in default session? No, right? So here first you need to send 1003. Yes. Then you will get positive response 50 03 00 32 01 F4. Then session has been switched to extended session. Now client will send security access. Once security access is granted, then we'll send ECU reset request. Understood? And once the hard reset is done, what will be the default session? ECU, after reset, what will be the session in the ECU? Yes, although it was extended session, but after hard reset is done, ECU will switch to default session, right? After powered up or after reset, the ECU will activate default session as the active session. Correct now? Guys? Good. So now this understood 27 service? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Good. Any other doubts? Guys? Any other doubt? Huh? Is there any doubts? Or any other service? Till now we have seen 3 services, 10, 11 and 27. So any doubt in these 3 services? Fine. So everybody, no doubt, right? Huh?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, good. Now, today we'll see just introduction on canalizer. Okay. Can you see the canalizer screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is actually canalizer tool. Okay. This is the canalizer tool we are using for CAN testing, CAN simulation, and even diagnostic testing. I shown you, right, the document. Can you see here? Excel sheet visible?
Yes, sir.
So this screenshot, okay, this screenshot is taken from Canalizer tool. Okay, so Canalizer tool, as I told, will have a diagnostic tool, right? Diagnostic tool which is used in service center. Correct now? We'll connect the diagnostic tool to the vehicle and the service engineer will perform diagnostic related operations on the vehicles. Correct now? Guys?
sir.
Am I correct? In the service center, diagnostic tools are used, right? Yes or no? Why silent? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. In the service center, diagnostic tool is used. And I told when we are performing this testing at the R&D center or in the lab, there should be CAN test tool, right? Right now? Guys? There should be CAN testing tool. And this Canalizer is the CAN testing tool, what we are using in the R&D center or in the lab, this tool. Okay, this is the Canalizer tool and this is used for CAN simulation. It is used for diagnostic testing. It is used for monitoring the CAN bus. All such kind of things can be done. And we have we have seen that screenshot, right? This is the trace window. This trace window will be captured, will be used to capture or monitor the CAN bus. Whatever the TX and RX messages are flowing on the CAN bus, you can show it here in trace window. This. Okay, so today we'll start learning about Canalizer tool. Is it clear, guys? Guys, clear na? So this is the Canalizer tool, which is used for doing. What is the purpose of this Canalizer tool? We'll have CAN testing tools. Okay, as I mentioned, we'll have Canalizer or Canoe tool. We'll have Canape tool. Okay, so this Canalizer and Canoe tool. Okay, this is used for multiple things. First is simulation of CAN messages, monitoring CAN bus, performing UDS testing. So this Canalizer or Canoe is used for three purposes. One is simulation of CAN messages. So why simulation is required? As we discussed, we have a complete vehicle. Okay. We have vehicle, right? In that vehicle, we'll have maybe 50 to 100 CUs, even more. Right now, let's say if this is the vehicle, this vehicle will have 50 to 100 ECUs. Okay, but we are working in only one ECU. Let's say we are working on power steering. Yes, ECU. Now we have this EPS ECU, but we doesn't have this complete vehicle while performing testing, right? Yes or no? Guys,
Yes, sir.
first you need to understand what is simulation of CAN messages and why you want to simulate. First, you need to understand that why you want to simulate a CAN messages. Because we got chance to work in only one ECU, standalone ECU. We doesn't have the complete vehicle, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
Guys?
sir.
So how you are going to test this EPS? Because we may have multiple so many ECUs which are responsible for sending those CAN messages, but we doesn't have. We have only one ECU which is EPS ECU with it. How we can do testing? Then we'll connect one CAN testing tool. Okay. Let's say we have connected Canalizer tool. Okay. Now this Canalizer tool is responsible to send all the messages which is required by EPS ECU. When this EPS ECU is connected in the vehicle network, let's say it required 20 messages from other ECUs. Those 20 messages we are using Canalizer to simulate and send it to the EPS ECU. Understood, guys? Guys, understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Because we doesn't have these many ECUs, right? Because we have only one ECU, which is EPS ECU, and we need to perform test on the EPS ECUs. But to perform the test, we need the actual environment. We need the actual CAN simulation, power supply, sensors, everything has to be there. Then only we can perform actual test on the EPS. Understanding? So now, how we can do that? Okay, power supply we can connect, not a problem. We can connect power supply. We'll have a power supply, we'll connect it. We have sensor, we'll connect it. We have actuators, we'll connect it. But what about CAN? How will connect CAN? Then in that case, we need CAN testing tool. Okay, to simulate, which can simulate all the CAN messages, which is required by this ECU. So this Canalizer we are using to simulate that. And this is that tool. Understanding, guys?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So apart from this CAN simulation, this tool can monitor CAN bus. So whatever the messages are flowing in this CAN, this Canalizer tool can monitor. Whatever the EPS is transmitting, whatever the Canalizer is transmitting, everything this Canalizer can monitor. Whatever the messages are flowing in the CAN, this Canalizer can monitor. Even error frames, overload frames, whatever frames are there, data frame, remote frame, everything can be monitored in Canalizer. So monitoring the CAN bus, that is the second thing this CAN testing tool Canalizer will do. Understood? Guys,
Yes, sir.
understood? Now the third thing is performing UDS testing. So this Canalizer will work as a CAN testing tool, or it will work as a diagnostic testing tool as a client. This Canalizer will work as a client. It will send requests to the EPS or any ECUs, and whatever the response it will transmit, it can monitor. Understood? For performing UDS testing also, this Canalizer can act as a client. Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
So these are the three things this Canalizer tool can do. Simulation of CAN messages, which is required by EPS. How this tool will do, that we'll see. Okay. Monitoring the CAN bus, yes. This Canalizer tool is connected in the CAN. Whatever the messages are going and coming on the CAN, this Canalizer tool can monitor it. Performing the UDS testing. So this Canalizer will work as a client. It will connect with the ECU and will send request and will receive response accordingly. How it will do, that also we'll see. Understood, guys? Till here, is it clear? Guys,
Yes, sir.
everyone, if any doubt, please do let me know.
Yes, sir.
Doubt, huh? Tell me.
No, sir.
So till now everything is clear, right?
Clear, sir.
Everyone? Everyone clear, right? I want to. Okay, fine. Fine then. Today we'll wrap up. Tomorrow again we'll see. Tomorrow we'll see in detail about Canalizer. How we are going to simulate the CAN messages, how we are going to monitor it, the CAN bus, and how we are going to perform UDS testing using Canalizer. Okay? Okay now?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So we'll close today. Tomorrow we'll again continue. Same time, 10:30. Okay?
Okay, sir. Sunday no holiday, sir.
Sorry?
Nothing, sir.
Holidays, huh?
Yes, sir.
Anyhow, see, actually, RTO's class is going on now. Weekdays, it's difficult for me. So Saturday, Sundays, I will prefer to take more.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, we doesn't have because timing is getting coincide with Deepak sir class.